Hey, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're calling in from. Looks like we got a great crowd today. Glad you could join us. I am Dan Cook, Director of Business Development here at Nadex, and we're going to be covering our Pro Series Part 1, which is going to include a platform introduction and talking a little bit about the trading basics. And I'm going to mix it up a little bit this morning. I know we've got some repeat visitors to these, and I know we also have a lot of new traders, not just new to Nadex, but new to trading. My background, while I've been here at Nadex for the last, 9 years or so, is in trading. And I think it's very important to really understand the concept. So as you're getting to the basics, a little food for thought, and it's one of my favorite quotes regarding trading. It was one a mentor of mine in 2004 told me by Amos Hofstadter: take care of your losses and the profits take care of themselves. It's all about risk management. I mean, one of the things I think is great about Nadex is the defined risk. You know what your risk is going up front. And if you can take care of losses, and one thing I'll mention is, well, we have a lot of people trading binary options, or you might trade a touch bracket or a call spread. All of these contracts, right, they can expire either like in binary options 0 or 100. They're an all or nothing at expiration. So let's say you buy a binary option at 30 and it starts going against you. You don't have to let it go to 0. You can close out early if you decide that the market is proving you wrong. It's a key concept, whether you're trading Nadex or any market, right? If the market starts going against you, you give it a little bit to try to work out. You've got some time, but hey, if at the end of the day, what you thought was going to happen, and not even the end of the day, any point in your trade, if what you thought was going to happen isn't happening, right? You had a reason to make that decision to buy or sell. You can always cut your losses early. On the flip side, right, you don't have to hold on to wait for the full value payout. You can close your position early for profit as well. Sometimes people will do what's called scaling out. So if you're trading, say, 3 contracts and it starts going in your favor, you could close one of those off and lock in profit and see what the other 2 do. So something to keep in mind, always though, first and foremost, if you take care of your losses, the profits will definitely take care of themselves. And it's not about one trade, it's about a lifetime of trades, whether you're doing this with the aspirations of doing this full time, or you just want to do it part-time because you find it fascinating. Whatever your motivation, something to keep in mind. Doesn't matter how you're doing it, take care of your losses and the profits take care of themselves. Great quote by Amos Hofstadter, famous trader. So with that, let's get going. By the way, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the question box. I'll do them pretty much as we when we get towards the end. I'll take them all at once because a lot will be answered as we're moving through, and just to respect everybody's time, we'll keep it flowing here as much as possible. So before we begin, you have to understand risk disclosure. That trading on Nadex involves risk. Anytime you put real money into a market, whether that be Nadex or any other financial market, it involves risk, right? You can lose that. Now, one thing with Nadex, as we talked about, it's all defined risk. So you know up front what your maximum possible loss is, right? Still, it has to be risk capital, and it's not appropriate for everyone, right? Trading is not easy. Physically, it's pretty easy, right? You click a button. Mentally, it can be very difficult. So understand these risks, and by understanding that it does involve risk, it'll help better mentally prepare you for taking those losses, which every trader who's traded probably more than 15 minutes has taken a loss, right? One other risk disclaimer here: the content in this webinar is copywritten by Nadex, so we own it. Please don't record it, reproduce it, or republish it without our express written permission. And so hopefully that's pretty clear, right? We just don't want you using our service marks or logos and holding them out as your own. So with that, let's get going. What we're going to cover today is pretty much the basics of layout. Excuse me, the basics of Nadex, kind of how the platform's laid out, and some of the vocabulary, some of the terms that you're going to hear as we go through here. So we're going to cover everything pretty much from logging in, what markets and products you can trade, how to use the markets window, get you up and running on how to place an order and manage, once the order is placed, manage positions from the open positions window, and lastly, how to manage preferences. So with that, let's get going here. One thing also we're going to discuss in a little bit, and many of you may be aware of, on this one, we're actually using our main platform as it stands right now. If you can see my screen though, there's a button up here that says join the beta. I'm going to actually tell you this a couple times. We just actually, as of yesterday, started the open beta test on the new platform. Would love your feedback when you're in there. Taking a look at it, there's a feedback button on the left. All of it is designed from feedback from our members. And I'm very proud of that. And that's how it should be, right? If I have something that I think is a good idea, but I'm not trading on the platform every day. Actually, I'm not even allowed to trade Nadex, right? Because I'm an exchange and I need to remain unbiased. But we need your feedback. It's your opportunity to help shape your trading experience with Nadex. There's going to be a webinar tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. In a little bit, I'll show you where you can get registered for that. For now, let's get logged into the platform here. And so, right, so this is the login screen. Pretty much anywhere on the Nadex website, if you need to log in the upper right-hand corner, you're gonna see a login button. It'll take you to this page. So whether you're logging into demo or live, if you're logging into demo, right, you put your username. If you haven't put the demo dash in, you just click login. All right, one key thing that I really want to mention, because I know sometimes you're anxious to get in, trading day started, whatever. Always pay attention to these welcome messages. They've got a lot of important information. So for example, if you're trading the China 50 index, you're probably going to want to know what the holiday schedule is for this week, right? Don't want to be caught by surprise. Right? We've got webinar experts, so very important messages. You know what? And if you've read it and you don't want to see it again next time you log in, just tick the box, click save, and continue. All righty. So let's get started here. So I'm in the platform. We're logged in, ready to go. Now we just need to decide, what do we want to do? And I'm going to change my layout here real quick, bring it out to the full screen here. When you log in, you'll see the watch list. These are popular binary options, but oftentimes you want to drill down a little bit. So let's say I wanted to trade a stock index future on a binary option. On the left-hand side is the finder. This is the most common way to get to the contracts you need. So I wanted to trade an indice binary. I'm going to click the little plus sign there. And I've got my choice. I've got the international indices. Now, depending on the time of day, there may be different contracts available, right? So for example, the Japan 225, right, the Japanese markets, and they may be more active at different times of day, right? As one would guess, when it's the business day in the Asia Pac region, the Japan contracts may be moving a little bit faster. Or if you're trading a currency like the Aussie, through that time zone, that may be more active than the pound or the euro. So just things to keep in mind. So right now we're at the really still the early part of the US business day for most of us. So I'm going to choose the US 500. This contract is based on the CME's E-mini S&P contract. If you've traded futures before, you'll know that as the ES, the E-mini S&P. And I'm just going to take a look at a daily contract here. So I click on daily. This expires at 4:15 p.m. Eastern today. I'm going to see a whole string of different contracts to trade. These are called strike prices, right? Similar if you've traded options before, these are strike prices and could be referred to as a strike chain. Now, when you log in, because we have a lot of strike prices, and this is what I want to illustrate here, you're going to see varying price, right? Because there's different levels. So you may need to scroll down a little bit when you first see it, right? And we have to do this because particularly as of the last couple of months, we've seen a lot of movement in the markets. And if we only had one or two binary strikes out there, it wouldn't be very good, right? Because the market would move and then all of a sudden they wouldn't be out of the money. Let's see here, hold on. Did I, give me 1 second here, folks. Sorry, I just, let's see. Looks like we've got an issue on the screen, so let me, Give me 1 second here. All right, are you guys now seeing, well, that'll certainly help the presentation. Thank you all for the comments. I'm not sure exactly when the screen actually went out there. Should have been showing, but okay, so we're back online. So I'll real quick run through kind of what I covered here over the last couple of minutes and get us back on track here. So give me 1 second. All right, so let's walk through this again. We're logged into the platform. Hopefully everybody finds that process pretty easy. If you didn't see the welcome message, first time you log in, you'll see the welcome message. Most are familiar with that. Again, double check that. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second again, folks. Are you guys all seeing the platform now? Yes, okay, cool. The guy who actually moderates a lot of these webinars came in and said, now he's not seeing my screen, but you know what? To heck with him, as long as you guys can see it. That's what's important to me. He's been around here for about 12 years, so he's seen this thing plenty of times. So, all right, let me know if we lose it again for some reason. Not sure what was clicked, but right on, let's get going. So on the left-hand side is the finder, right? So if you want to trade a binary option, a call spread, or a touch bracket. Now, my platform will look a little bit different. You might see that test binaries. I get to test different things out. I do a lot of product development and different testing. So you won't see that on yours. But if you want to trade 20-minute binaries, if you're looking for something really fast, right, really moves, 5-minute binaries on the currencies. Again, a very quick contract. Maybe you want to trade something a little bit longer, like the US 500 daily. Just going to click on the US 500. When I click on the contract, right, this expires today at 4:15 p.m. Eastern, and I see the countdown timer, 5 hours, 2 minutes. Just going to click on the daily contract there, and it brings up the strike chain, which hopefully now everybody can see all right. At the top, again, you'll see a lot of strike prices. The strike price, for example, here at the top is the 3075, US 500 greater than 3075. We have a lot of strike prices. And the reason being, with the movement of the market, right, the market can move pretty severely, and we always want to keep a fair double-sided market with opportunity for all of our members. And to do that, particularly for the time frame, right, because this was listed last night, right, for the time frame that it is, the daily contract is going to have more strike prices than, say, like a 20-minute, right, because there's a typical range in the 20-minute. Now, not to say on a severe move, like around a fundamental report, it can't move outside that range, but we really need to make sure, particularly on the daily basis. And if the markets get really volatile and it goes outside, we'll add more strikes to compensate for that, right? Because we want to continue to provide opportunity. It'd be pretty boring if there was a big move in the market and that's when all the action's happening, and then we didn't have a strike to place. So this is now the markets window. Again, I just clicked on the daily. So this is the US 500 market. So let's take a look at placing a trade, right? I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to click to buy. I'm going to do that one more time so everybody can get it. If I want to buy or sell this contract, I simply click on the order ticket. And we're going to cover the charts in more depth in the next couple sessions, so I'm not going to get too much into those today. We're really going to look at kind of the basic functionality, but I'm going to show you how to open up a chart if you're interested. We just won't dig too deep today. All right, so I see my order ticket. I've got my strike price up here, US 500, greater than 29.67. By the way, do you see that DEC behind that? That is the futures symbol. So if you're not familiar, in the futures market, there are expiration months, right? So when it's traded, in this case, we're onto the December contract. So in the underlying futures market, this contract the futures contract will expire and then roll in December. This has no bearing on the expiration of the Nadex contract, right? This one is going to expire in 4 hours and about 59 minutes. So I do want to point that out because I know that can be a source of confusion for people. Well, wait, I thought this was expiring in December. it would actually be a pretty boring binary option if it didn't expire until December. So greater than 29.67, again, expiring today. Happy October, by the way, everybody. I don't know where the summer went, but getting into fall pretty quickly, right? So then we see our bid offer sizes, right? So this is basically saying I've got a liquidity of 250 up on the 26, and you can see actually we might have somebody who put in a one lot. You can always work a price, and you can do that using a limit order. So right now, we've got a bid and offer. I'm going to try to buy this. I think 26 might be fair, but what if I can buy it for 24? Right? I don't have to just take what the offer is if I'm buying it. And if I place the order, this is going to now go into my working orders tab. And if I see this, do you see how that worked? Now I'm the best bid in this market. I went to what's called the top of the book, right? So now if somebody wants, somebody's looking to sell this contract, I'm willing, to let them take it at 24. That's where I want to buy it. So what's advantageous about that for all of our members is I'm trying to work a better price for my buy. They're also getting a better sell price. And so if somebody comes in and hits that, right, we both actually have now done what's called, basically split the bid offer. No guarantee that it'll get filled. As a matter of fact, maybe it won't. But for right now, I'm the top of the book. I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and we're going to walk through. That was a limit order. Go ahead and click this as closed, and I can delete this as long as it's in working order status. In my open positions window, once those are in, then I'll have to either decide to trade out, and we'll take a look at that now. So let's go back in and place another trade. This time I'm going to place a sell. We'll walk a little bit more through the order ticket. Now I can place this again using the order ticket if I wanted to try to sell at 86.75. Here I can choose my contract size, and I'm going to lower this to 1. Right, so I've got 86.75. Right now I'm showing a max loss of 13.25 with a maximum potential profit of 86.75, right? If I'm selling, my best possible outcome is 0, right? Now I can place this order, and if I place this order right now, the market is above that, so I should get filled pretty quickly. I do want to point out though, particularly if you're trading a shorter term binary option, sometimes the limit orders can be a little tough to get filled, right? Because the market's moving so fast by the time you click on the button. So if you're looking at that and you're always trading short term, and I'll show you how you can set this in parentheses, you might want to use a market order, or what we call a market with protection order. What this means on the market order is that if I'm trying to buy this contract, I have what's called a protection limit. So I'm willing to take a little bit worse price than what the market's at right now. Now, I don't want to try to buy at 32 and all of a sudden the market's at 88, right? That wouldn't be very beneficial. So I have this protection limit built in. Again, we'll look at that in preferences in a little bit. So right now, if I place this market order to buy, I'm going to place this order, market's at 29. If I place that at 29 and I have a 10-point variance for my protection limit, right, that means the worst I can get filled at is at 39, right? 29 plus my protection limit of 10. I can adjust that protection limit. Again, we'll take a look at that in a minute. So now I have my open positions. So we can see we have floating profit and loss. We have our contracts that we traded, the time left to expiration date, the time we placed the trade, and the average price that we got in. Now I only traded one contract on either side of this, so my average price is actually the price. In certain instances though, you might be trading the same contract where you're doing what's scaling in, where you might buy one at 25, buy another one at 27, buy another one at 29. The platform is going to show you that average price, right? It's also going to show you your position size. This is showing pink with a -1, meaning I'm sold one contract. The one below is blue with a +1, meaning I'm bought one contract. My price to buy was 29. Right now, the current market is 25.50, so I've got a floating profit loss of 350. All right, and this is the indicative index and my overall position value, right? The position value is going to be reflective, right? The current market is 24.25. Since I bought, it's the difference between current market and 0. Where the one I sold, the current market is 92, so my worst case scenario, 100, is a position value of $8, right? So the position value will basically be the difference, or your effectively maximum risk at that given time if you closed out right now. So from here, I'm going to show you how you can manage a couple of these positions. All right, so we bought this one at 29. Let's say I need to go into a meeting and I need to walk away, right? I'm happy, if the market goes to 0, that's fine. But if the market makes a run up, I don't want to just necessarily wait to see if it goes, to 100. But I'm happy if, I bought it at 29, if it goes to say 70. So let's walk through this again. We're going to set a limit order for 70. So I simply click on the open position. You can scroll on the price, or you can simply highlight it and type in your price, right? What's going to happen now when I place this order, right? Now I have a working order, right? It's in the books, sitting there. If the market on this position rallies up and my contract goes to 70, right? I bought, so the bid price has to go to 70. I can get filled and lock in my profit without sitting there. Now, if I decide, again, this is a working order, it's not in the market yet, right? It's not an open position. If I want to close that out, simply click on that and I can click delete remainder, right? All right, same thing on the sell side, right? When I click on this, because I sold this contract, the order ticket is going to open up in the opposite direction, right? If I sold it, I want to buy it back. We'll walk through this again. I sold here, and we'll take a look. I sold at an average price of 87.25. So maybe if this market hits 45, that's where I want to take my profit, right? So I change that to buy price to 45 with the hopes that if the market drops, I'll lock in profit at 45. Because it's a limit order, it always has to be filled at that price or better, right? The market with protection has that built-in protection range, right? And again, if I want to cancel that, or let's say I want to amend it, right? You know what, maybe the market's been a little bit more volatile. I think it's going to move a little bit farther. I can change that to 35, click amend order. Again, very easy. And now we can see our sell is starting to move a bit into profit. And let's say, hey, we're up $6, but let's say we're up $60 and wanted to close this out. Now, in a fast market, and again, we'll look at this in preference, I might want to choose a market order if I'm just trying to get out, right? So I'm going to place this order to try to lock in that profit, right? Take a very, in this case, we took a very small profit, but that's an example. If the market had been moving, maybe we were sitting on this trade for a little while, and all of a sudden, we bought at 20, and all of a sudden the market's at 60, right? So now we're looking at a 2-to-1, right? We put up 20, we're profitable 40, not including exchange fees. Maybe we want to take that profit. I want everybody to understand how to do that as well as what we covered with working an order. So we talked a little bit about preferences, and I know I'm already with the technical issues. I'm going to be running over time here in a little bit. By the way, with the issues we had, on the video, I may miss some questions because there's a lot in the questions box. So when we get to the end here and I take questions, if you put one in there earlier, if you could type it, that would be great, because I don't want to miss anybody's questions. But let's take a look at preferences. So whether you're in your demo or your live account, up on the left side, the My Account tab. And I'm going to walk through that one more time. I know sometimes it's hard to follow the cursor. In the upper left-hand side, in demo it's green, in the live it's blue. Click on the My Account tab, right? Now, obviously, we can't fund our demo account. We have had people actually try. But this gives you the funding options if you were in your live account, right? So here's your history tab, right? Transactions, order history, statements, contact details. We're going to focus on settings. So underneath the settings tab, my preferences. This is an important tab. You can turn off the flashes as far as the lights flashing. You can also set your default order type. So if you noticed, every time I brought up an order ticket, it was always a limit order. If I wanted that to always be a market order, particularly if I'm trading a faster market, like a 5-minute binary, which can just whip all over the place, or even, really any binary option close to expiration will have the same characteristics, particularly when it's trading close to the strike price. If you think about why that is, it's because the binary option, right, always has to be 0 or 100. And so when it's hovering right on that price, the difference between one tick can be the difference between 0 and 100. So they can really fly around. So you may want to look at using a market order if you're trading binaries into those. If you're trading a little bit longer term, you may want to, like something that's even 2 hours out or daily that's not moving as fast. Maybe you always want a limit order, your preference. You can set your default order size. So if you always trade one contract, you can set it to 1. Maybe you always want to trade 3 contracts. You can set it to 3. We'll scroll down. So the tolerance price preference, this is for the market with protection orders, right? You can set this. Let's say I trade really fast binaries and I'm comfortable with 15 points protection. That seems like a lot. I can just set that to 15. Maybe I think 10 is too much and I just want to set it to 5. I can use the arrows or I can just highlight it, type in my value, right? You can use multiple order tickets, allow multiple ticket panels. You can reuse a single ticket. Again, preference. Session inactivity. This is really for security. If your computer is setting securely at home, you might want your session inactivity set at 12 hours, meaning, hey, I was on in the morning. I just want it left open and it's not going to log me off until the evening when I get back after work. You can set it really for 1 hour to 12 hours. Again, your preference. Once you've gone through these and set the preferences, click Set Preferences, and it's changed. Right? So now, before I had a limit order as my preference, I open this up, and now it's automatically market order. So if I want to click it and get in, that's how fast it is. Right? So it's all about the preferences. Now, this has been a basic rundown. I want to show you a couple more things real quick. And hopefully you can all join me tomorrow and Thursday as well. We've got some upcoming webinars. If you registered for this one, you're automatically registered, I believe, for part 2 and 3, tomorrow and Thursday. The new platform walkthrough, this is going to be hosted by Adam McAdden. He's been a key person in the development of the new platform, which is in beta phase. Again, we want your feedback. Right? I'm actually going to go in here and log out of this platform. And I'm not going to dig into the new platform too much because I want Adam to really cover that. But basically, if you've got your live or demo account, and you should all, if you check your email, should have all, I believe, received something for the new platform. And click login. And it'll open up the new platform. So if I want to trade binary options, it's got a totally different look and feel. All of this is really based on feedback. And I know if you've been trading with Nadex for a while, there's probably going to be a bit of an adjustment period. This new platform is going to offer so many cooler tools, so much more flexibility than what the previous platform did. And we're just really excited about taking all of your feedback. By the way, when you're in here, if you've already taken a look at it, I see some comments that some people have. Right here's a feedback button. Shoot us your feedback. We pay very close attention to all of this. Obviously, we can't do everything as quickly as we'd like, but we do take it seriously, and we just look to, as closely as possible, follow all of the feedback we receive. All right, I'm going to flip back real quick and get you some contact information for Nadex. When I flipped back, were you able to see the, you should see questions and feedback page? Hopefully so. If not, I'll read it off, but you should see it. Email customerservice@nadex.com. We've got great client support. Give us a call, toll free. We're here 24 hours basically through open market hours. So Sunday afternoon through Friday afternoon, you're going to be able to get somebody on the phone. Got a live account and you have questions about your account. Your account specialists can be reached there. They're always happy to help. If you have feedback on the webinar, not on the new platform, but on this webinar, we're going to be doing a lot more of these, and I want to know what content you want, right? If you tell me what you'd like to learn, now one of the things I'm in the process of, along with the team here, is actually redoing the whole education page, adding a lot more content that I think is going to be very valuable. It's based on feedback, but it's things like developing a trading plan. If you want to see that in a webinar format, if you want me to walk through, I've I've worked with hundreds of people on trading plans. You want to talk about risk management. Maybe you want to talk about candlesticks. We've got a lot of great information already on the website, but you know, again, we want your feedback. Let's see. Okay, Richard, you know what? Let me flip back there real quick. And I'm actually going to let Adam run through a lot of this. Because if you want the chart, but then the question is about the chart. So if you want that order ticket to disappear, right, to expand your chart, you don't want that on the left side, you can click those. Again, everything is based on these arrows, so you can set that up. So if you saw that, so right, maybe I don't want to see my positions that I've got open right now. I can close those down and expand my chart. Particularly if you're trading from the chart, you know, click on that, that'll reopen your order ticket. But if you want to get that out of the way, particularly if you're doing analysis or anything like that, boom, there you are. The charts are going to offer a lot more functionality too. Again, I just for sake of time, I can't get too deep into them, and I also don't want to steal Adam's thunder. So again, right here, new platform walkthrough tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be awesome, and he's going to really do a deep dive. So really hope you can join that. Again, want to hear your feedback. So far, I've got to say the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive. Now, as I mentioned before, I've been trading a long time, and I know sometimes change is tough, particularly when we're looking at trading platforms. We get it set up, you know, just the way we want it. But from a tools perspective, from an ongoing perspective, there is just so much more that we can deliver so much quicker for all of our members than what we can, you know, underneath the old technology that, quite frankly, is pretty antiquated. And I think it'll be a much smoother user experience in that respect. Oh, real quick, I'll take one more on the 5-minute binaries. So if you're on binary options and you click 5-minute, right, it'll bring up the 5-minute Forex. So just click on that. That'll open up the chart, and it'll also open up an order ticket right away. So if you want to get in fast, again, if you close that order ticket, all you have to do, click again here, and your order ticket populates. But again, don't want to take too deep a dive into the new platform. I'm going to let Adam take care of that tomorrow. Awesome. Again, let's see, you know, shoot us if you have a question. There's our contact information. Want to thank everybody for joining us, and hope to have everybody back on tomorrow. With that, I'll go ahead and wrap it up, and hope everybody has a great rest of your day, and best wishes in the markets.